everyone. I'm Corinne.
And I'm Brandi.
Welcome to A Pot of Tales, the podcast where we read you short stories that we made up and now you have to listen to.
Every week we pick the same genre, setting, and challenge item to include. Everything else is up to our own interpretation.
Good job. That's good.
Yay! I went off script.
No, it was good. It was good. So, just a quick caveat I'm still sick. If you're on our Facebook, which I hope you are, you have gotten the message that there wasn't an episode last week because I was so sick that every time I opened my mouth, I was coughing up a lung. It wasn't very fun. And I'm recovering now. I think I'm almost better. Just still have a froggy throat.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. So yeah, bear with me. I'll do my best not to cough into the microphone.
Just cough away from it.
Yeah. So other than being sick this week, I have been getting better. So I went to our friend Sean's birthday party last night. He is 29, so happy birthday, Sean.
Happy birthday, old man.
Old man.
Haha.
Yeah, so the day that we're recording this is his actual birthday. And yesterday was his
happy
birthday party. Yeah. So, yeah, we hung out at Ben's house, Ben and Libby's house. And I got to hang out with their dog, Cleo.
What kind of dog do they have?
She's like a whole mix of stuff. She's a mutt.
Was she adorable?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, she was super cute. And they had like a jam session when I walked in, and Sean had this like bag of percussion instruments. So they're like, "Oh, if you want to join in, grab one of these and like play along with us." And I was like, "Okay." So I was looking through it all. It's all like all those wooden percussion stuff, and Jackie was playing with the fish where you have like the stick and the fish is like ribbed, so you're like
Oh, I loved that
yeah, I
thing.
think they also make it look like a frog and like sometimes too, but this one was shaped like a fish.
I love that thing.
Yeah, so she was playing that, so I picked up these little things that look like clams to me. Like you just kind of like
Oh, the
click them.
clickety
Yeah, the
clacks.
clickety clacks. I was calling them the clams. So Jackie was playing the fish, I was playing the clams. And then I was like, these would look great with googly eyes on them. And Sean was like, please take them and put googly eyes on them for me.
Do you have them?
Yeah, they're in my bag. But yeah, so at work we have like an unlimited supply of googly eyes, so I might borrow a couple.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't think he was serious at first. So I was like, what are you talking about? And then he was like, please take them. Put googly eyes on them for me. I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
And so I know you did something last night as well. What did you guys do?
So me, Mom, and Brandon went to Rick and Dora's house for our monthly dinners over there. But
Yeah.
you didn't show up.
I was at a birthday party,
I know.
but they're having a postponed dinner
Yeah.
that I get to go to.
We're
So,
having spaghetti.
spaghetti.
Yeah.
Ooh, with garlic bread.
Absolutely.
Ooh, so excited. I was a little sad I missed tacos, but we did have a lot of pizza at Sean's thing, so
They're so good. The
yeah.
tacos.
Yeah, I know. Dora makes some good tacos.
I think I ate like a whole bag of chips and salsa by myself.
Proud of you.
Like combined between the two bags that we ate, I think I ate a whole one collectively by myself.
No, same. Whenever I sit with a bag of tortilla chips, I have to control myself because I love tortilla chips.
And the salsa, I think I ate like a whole jar of that by myself too. We had 3 jars and I had to open up a second one.
Ooh, that sounds so good. I think they had chips. Yeah, they had chips and dip last night, but for some reason I did not partake in that part. I
Oh
think
my
it was
gosh.
across the room and I was comfy where I was.
Oh.
And the dog was like in the middle of the floor, so I was hanging out with her whenever she would pay attention to me. She had like major FOMO. Like she kept like we were there till 12:30 last night, and the Cleo, she was like she kept trying to go to bed. Like they left the bedroom door open for her to just like go in whenever she wanted to and sleep. She would go in there, be in there for like a minute, and then she'd come right back out. She had FOMO big
Oh.
time. And they're like, yeah, her bedtime's usually at 8. And we're like, oh no, the poor thing.
Oh,
She was
she's probably so
struggling.
tired today.
Yeah, she was struggling to stay awake. And we were giving her little bits of, like little crumbs of pizza and like pieces of cheese or whatever. So she was like It was a small house. It was like the size of my house. So like we're all just sitting around the living room hanging out, having a good time, and she was feeling it. She didn't want to miss any of the fun, so she kept coming right back out the second she would walk in the door.
That's so cute.
Yeah, she was super cute.
I went back to work this week, and it was the longest week of my life, I feel like.
Oh yeah, this was a long week for me too.
Mm.
And like I couldn't figure out why, and then someone was like, "This is our first full week again." And I was like, "That's why."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I ruined my sleep schedule really bad because I was going to bed at like 12 and then waking up at 9:30, 10 o'clock. And
Oh.
now I have to go to bed around like 8, wake up at 4
Oh. That's awful.
or 3:30.
Yeah.
So I was feeling it this week
Yeah,
and
I'm
it felt
sure.
really long. And then on Friday, I wasn't allowed to have coffee because I had to go to a doctor's appointment. And they're like, no caffeine.
Oh
And that
no.
was the worst day ever.
Oh, yeah, especially on a Friday when you're just exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this week, there was definitely something in the air. All the kids were like extra this week. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Friday, that so many of them were so emotional. Like, parents were
Same.
coming to pick them up, and half the kids are like crying, and I'm like, sorry, it came at a weird time. And they're like, it's fine. And some of them would be showing up and their kids crying, and they're like, what's wrong? I'm like, they just didn't nap today. I'm sorry. And they're like, oh, it's okay. They never nap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
but for
good.
some reason on Friday it affected them like extra.
Hmm.
And so like this poor kid was just crying about every little thing. He would like trip and fall over. He'd be sobbing for like half an hour afterwards.
Same though.
Yeah, I know. I felt so bad.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
My coworker, because I couldn't drink it, he let me sniff his coffee.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
nice.
he's like, here, here,
Just
just
sniff it. Just sniff
sniff
it.
it.
I feel like that'd be a little worse for me, but maybe it was like a placebo.
It was.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
good.
meant for that.
Yeah.
And he's
That's
like, just sniff this. And then the next one that I get, I'll let you sniff that one too. I was like, thank you.
Wait, so he had like two coffees? And
We drink a lot of coffee throughout the
yeah.
day.
Well, I mean, fair. You are up super early. I would be too. But
Like, we get one in the morning, and then, like, halfway, like, not even halfway, a half hour later after our first one, we go get another one.
yeah. Oh, because you have a coffee maker, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's a cafeteria, so we get
Oh, true, true,
all of
true.
our, like, we can drink as much coffee as we want.
Yeah.
And so after the half hour after the first one, we get another one. And then that one lasts a little longer.
Uh-huh.
And then usually about halfway through breakfast, we're like, we need another one.
No wonder you're having heart problems, girl.
I don't have heart problems.
Three. You said you went to the cardiologist.
Well, it's I have a primary care that is a cardiologist. Yeah.
Oh. Oh,
So
my bad, my bad.
they wanted like a baseline.
Oh, so they're just like, this is my thing. Let's make you do it
Yeah, pretty
because it's
much.
fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in order to like go to the primary care over there, they're like, "Hey, you got to do this too."
Yeah.
It's more like preventative care, I guess. So
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
whatever. I don't
Sure.
care.
If I wore one at work, mine would be spiking.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I feel like I should have worn it at work, but I didn't get it until the weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Well, that's a
let's see.
situational thing too. Like at
Yeah.
work, like I feel like mine would be tainted because of work.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
there's certain times of the day where you've just like you're like, why won't they listen? What why can't I make a difference?
I had a thought of like if my heart rate spikes, I'll know exactly what it was from.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I would press the button and then I'll just write it down like
Yeah.
coworker.
Coworker. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But like halfway through breakfast, we would get another one. And then like at the end of breakfast, in between breakfast and lunch, we would get another one.
Yeah, that's a lot of coffee.
And then after that, not so much.
Yeah. I had to like I have to like put a stopper on myself because I have to have my morning coffee. And we actually do have a coffee maker in the break room, but it's hot coffee and you're not allowed to bring hot coffee in the classrooms because it's
Oh.
hot. Well, it's just in case a kid knocks it over or something. It doesn't like burn them.
Oh, yeah,
Like
that's
if they
true.
knocked over an iced coffee, like whatever, there's cold for a second
Yeah.
and we just wipe them off. But which is like totally understandable. But then I'm like, why can't we have an iced coffee maker?
Do you guys have like a fridge?
There is a fridge, yeah. I don't know if there's any ice cubes, so
I was gonna say, buy like an ice cube tray and then
yeah.
just
Just
throw,
for myself.
yeah, just throw ice into your coffee.
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
It might water it down a little bit,
Well,
but
yeah, I mean, iced coffee is already super watered
yeah.
down, so I used to make it, remember?
Yeah, but that's why you can drink so much of it because it's already watery.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Oh, yeah, so like what I was saying, like I have my morning coffee. I get a medium iced coffee from Dunkin'. And then in the afternoon, if I forget to pack a lunch or just forget to grocery shop so then I don't have food to pack for lunch, I'll go to Starbucks that's across the street. And because they have like some pretty like decent food there, and I always get like the spinach and feta egg wrap thing so that I don't feel terrible about myself for getting fast food. And while I'm there, I'm like, well, might as well get a coffee. And then I've had my second coffee, and like I always get a venti because that's about the size of the medium.
I was gonna say, what size is that?
It's like it's the large, but like it's like slightly bigger than a medium in Dunkin'.
Oh, okay.
So then like I'm like thinking in my head like, oh, this is just another medium iced coffee from Dunkin' practically. So what's the harm in that?
Their coffee is stronger,
It
I
is,
feel.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I do
So,
get iced coffee instead of a latte. Like I was getting lattes at first, but then I was like, oh, if I just get iced coffee, it'll be cheaper. And it's not that much cheaper. It really doesn't matter. But I don't like having that much dairy at once unless I'm
yeah,
having like
it's a
ice
lot.
cream. Yeah. So like I like to, and also iced coffee has more caffeine than like a latte. So
Mm.
because even though espresso itself has more caffeine, there's less espresso in there. Like the ratio's off.
In the latte?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like depending on the size, like you'll get like 2 shots of espresso and then the rest of it's milk and flavor. So like even though espresso itself has more caffeine, like you're putting less of it in there than you would just filling it with iced coffee.
Yeah, I don't love lattes all the time. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll be in the mood for it, but it's just,
Yeah, it's a nice treat.
yeah.
Yeah. And also kind of off topic, I'm really excited because I found the other half of my chocolate orange from Christmas under my bed. It's all wrapped, but now I like want a piece, so hang on.
Is it still good?
Yeah, it's dark chocolate.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Want a piece?
No, I don't
Mm-hmm.
like dark chocolate.
Oh.
Mom asked me if I wanted a dark chocolate or a milk chocolate. I was like, milk chocolate all the way.
Mm-hmm. I had to ask her for the dark chocolate because the milk chocolate was giving me a tummy ache because I would eat it all on Christmas morning, like after our sugary breakfast of cinnamon buns.
I love the cinnamon buns.
Yeah,
That's the only time that I'll really eat them
me
is
too.
Christmas.
Mm-hmm. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm sorry.
Like Brandon will make it sometimes for his breakfast, but like I have to like be really in the mood for it.
Mm-hmm.
I conditioned myself to only eat it for like holidays.
Yeah, and like every once in a while Taylor will sleep over and she'll want some for breakfast. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, it has to be like very rare where I'll eat them.
Mm-hmm.
Who texted you?
My email,
Ooh, who's it from?
Zillow,
Wow.
because like I can't figure out how to unsubscribe without them continuing to send me stuff.
You just hit unsubscribe on the email.
I thought I've done that before, but I keep getting them. See, it says unsubscribe from this email.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the email. Oh, wait, hang on.
I'm sorry, I'm super fidgety. So
No,
if you
so am
hear,
I. Oh, it's unsubscribe from all Zillow.
yeah.
Oh, now it wants me to log in. I don't remember. I think it worked. I guess I'll let you know next
Yeah.
week if I remember.
Oh, yeah. We never actually said if you were late for Christmas. You were late.
Not by that much.
You were still late.
By how much?
15 minutes.
Oh, get over it. You still had your breakfast, your fancy breakfast
I
without
did.
me.
Yep.
Yeah. Your Christmas breakfast cake.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Okay.
Okay. So, on to the stories. This week we have 1800s Wild West, zombie apocalypse, and a music box as the challenge item.
Yeah, and like we were looking at the genres that we had in our coconut, and the only one that we haven't done yet is historical fiction. So we're like, let's combine that with this one because
Yeah.
this is in the 1800s.
I'm gonna stand up for this.
You can do that. That's fine. Yeah, we're sitting on a different location now. I feel like we've been changing locations the past few episodes. But this time we're at my house and we're sitting at the dining room table instead of in my room
Or my room.
or Brandy's room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe with the way that the microphone is, I'll be able to like breathe
Yeah,
by
that's true.
standing up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things I have to edit out a lot is us going like just catching our breath.
Because I'm like crushing my diaphragm.
Yeah. Diaphragm.
Diaphragm.
All right, Brandy, tell me a story.
Okay, hold on. I gotta log in.
I'm gonna take a sip of wine.
Ooh. I'm driving, so I can't have any.
Hmm. I'm staying put because apparently it's snowing out.
Yeah, it is.
We didn't know it was going to snow today. I just knew it was going to be windy, and now it's just snowing out. We're sitting in front of the window and there's snowflakes. It's a winter wonderland out there.
Okay. So I had to do like some research on this. And I think this is a story where I'm gonna have to go back and like kind of rewrite later on. Like I want to like continue this because I feel like there could be more
Yeah,
to it.
I kind of felt the same way. Like I did some research because I was like, I'm gonna pick out some terms, some cowboy terms.
Yeah.
And then I like tried using them. I was like, this sounds stupid, but then I left them in. So like, I'll try to explain what they mean when I get to them. But like I kind of like since I was sick, I like did not want to work on it, even though I had extra time to work on it. So then I finished when you got here. So I feel like
Yeah.
the ending is absolutely rushed.
Yeah, my ending is rushed too because like I felt like if I were going to continue, I needed to add more in the middle.
Yeah.
So I think this is definitely one where I want to go back and like rewrite, repurpose, and like maybe we'll do that for like one of our other episodes where we rewrite
Yeah,
some of the
that would
new
be kind of
ones.
cool. Like have like a callback or something. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we really liked this story, but we feel like we did a terrible job on it, so let's redo it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple where I'm like, I really want to redo that one and add
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, like maybe like we could do that like quarterly or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool. Okay. Dear Louise, you are my love in my life. I miss you so dearly. I know we aren't supposed to be together. You are Madam and an Angelica, which means like a unmarried woman.
And Angelica or
Yeah.
Madam?
Um, and Angelica. That's just what I looked up.
I don't know why I hate that.
Yeah, I hate that
Like
too.
I don't know why I don't like that. It makes no sense.
But they're not supposed to be together.
Um, wait, that was a gross thing. Oh.
I have received the music box. Something has happened around this part of town, but no one has a clue of what. Do not come here. There are people walking around askew, making ungodly sounds and foaming from the mouth. We have settled in Sacramento Valley, California. There's massive amounts of gold among the American River. Many are scattered to find the gold. I have seen many people that look sickly. It looks like leprosy, but worse. Saturday, I went into the saloon. A man with the disease was eating the owner. Then, boom, double tap on them, both dead.
Yum.
It was first with one person, and then we were by horse, and the lad behind me starts hollering as he gets bit by a snake. We get him back to town in the local hospital.
You need a minute?
Oh, yeah, I forgot why I wrote snake.
No.
Because that's like how it started with the disease.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's creative.
Okay.
Like snake oil?
Yeah. Yeah,
Ah,
I
like a
don't.
like a snake oil salesman had like it or something.
Yeah.
That's cool. You did way more research than I did. This is gonna be cool.
Okay. I have shot many people that look sickly. It looks like leprosy, but worse. Last Sunday, I went into the saloon. A man with the disease was eating the owner. Then I double tapped on them, and both are dead now. It first started with one person. We were by horse, and the lad behind me starts hollering as he gets bit by a snake. We get him back to the town to the local hospital. He was throwing up and shaking like a leaf. He gets a rash all over his face and body. My goodness, the sounds that were coming from him. Zombie sounds. Then he attacks me. The doctor intervenes, but he gets bit. Within a few minutes, the doctor starts acting the same way. The rash and the bite mark on his arm starts swelling. His rash gets worse and he throws up. It smells like rotting flesh,
Ugh.
but no one is on fire. I ran out of the hospital. A few days later, there were at least 5 people out there, all with bite marks on them. It went from 5 to 20 in just 4 days. I called a meeting with the town to talk about the rising of sickly people. It's just so odd. No one is safe right now. I have stocked up on ammo, guns, and alcohol and tobacco. I ain't fighting no one without my provisions. I will keep you updated as I fight off the sick people, but I do not suggest coming here. I will keep this box as a memory of you. Love always, Birch.
Wow.
Birch takes the next couple days to collect the healthy people and advise a plan. They stock up on guns and ammo and tend to their horses as they know they will be essential to the fight against healthy and sick. Birch makes the saloon home base for everyone. They barricade the whole outside. They have made a home. On the counter, Birch sets the music box. As he looks at it, he longs to have Louise in his life. He knows as long as the unhealthy people are roaming around, he will never see her again. As he was staring at the music box, he heard clawing and banging on the barricade. The air became thick with panic and had an eerie feeling as they were all going to become dinner to the people outside. Birch looks outside the peephole of the boarded up window and spots a woman being overtaken by the sick people. She was being mauled, and her screams seemed to not have mattered to the sick people out there. Birch wondered if the people had any type of remorse at all, or if they were just taken over by the disease. The next thing Birch knew, he heard the sweet sound of the music box playing. He thought nothing of it until the sick people all turned around, their heads in unison, and headed towards the sound. Birch and a few others pulled out their guns and started shooting. One by one they get shot, except for a single sick person. They end up biting one of the townsmen. As the disease overtakes them, they bite another healthy person, then another, then another. Birch scoops up a young crying child and then runs, and then others start to follow. Soon there were more sick people than there were healthy people. He throws the child into the horse and buggy, along with a few other reliable people. They skip town and ride out, leaving the home that they have built and settled on behind. Birch soon then realizes that he has lost his box, the last thing that he has had of Louise. They continue to ride on. The towns were desolate. Bodies everywhere from people being shot, and it looks like the disease has taken over those towns as well. No one healthy in sight, just Birch and his team riding along. One of the townspeople said, "It looks like the disease hit this area already, but no one thought to write to warn us." The cab gets quiet after that, and they keep riding. They keep riding, and they noticed a woman staggering around. She looked like she needed help. The townsman says, "She looks like she could use a ride. Should we pull over?" Birch replies, "We can't trust anyone right now. We need to get to the river to find the gold and get out of there." "What if she's sick?" "Just pull over. I will check on the woman. Maybe she can assist on this journey." Birch pulls the horse over and the townsman gets out to approach the woman. He says, "Howdy there, woman. Can we
Howdy
assist
there.
Can we assist you here today?" he asks with a friendly smile on his face. The woman looks up and he sees the rash on her face.
uh,
His smile quickly dims and he starts running for the horses.
I'm just picturing her go like looking at him going
Yeah.
bah.
His smile quickly dims. He starts running toward the horses. Unfortunately, he forgot his gun, and now he is the woman's lunch. He
Mm.
lunges towards him, and with a staggered motion, she gets him on the ground and starts to bite him. Then soon enough, he has lifeless eyes and turns within minutes. They both look up and move toward the horses. Birch quickly whips the horses into action and they set off towards the river. It soon became dark. Birch hears the sick people off in the distance snarling and growling. I just had to. The boy begins to cry. Birch quickly places his hand on the boy's mouth and says, "Shh, don't let them hear you. Be strong. This, young man, is a lesson in life that you need to learn early. In times of sadness and distress, being strong is the key to survival. You will toughen up in time. You will be my protege. We will win this fight, and you will be with me." 2 years later, the boy and Birch continue to travel fighting off the sick people. The boy has become a strong ally with him. The rest of the townsmen were slowly picked off by the sick people, but the two men have always stuck together. They ride into the next town, and Birch sees a familiar, lovely face. "Louise?" says Birch with a strain in his voice. She turns her face away, and he hears small growls that come from her. The disease has gotten her. He picks up his gun, shoots her. With tears in his eyes, he says, "Let's go." To be continued.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm kind of upset that I have to follow that. That's pretty good. Good job.
Thanks. Should I explain the snake again? In
Um,
case it gets cut out?
no, that's not gonna get
Okay.
cut out. No, I think like I got excited and started creating something that I was like, I should have done that.
Oh.
And then was like, why didn't I think about that? Because I don't have a cause for mine. So
Oh.
that's pretty cool. Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah, I liked the letter too, like starting. It was a pretty good opener.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. All right. So yours was pretty good and a lot less graphic, even though it was pretty like. I mean, would you consider that graphic?
I don't know.
You didn't describe the wounds like I'm going to, so here we go.
No. I
So
mean,
like, quick trigger warning.
yeah.
Like, I don't think I got like that graphic, but just in case, I want to give a quick trigger warning for violence and um, grossness. All right, so I kept having to like leave this and come back to it. So like before I finished it today, I read over it again to try to like help tie it together. So hopefully it's not too like rushed or whatever.
Yeah.
Ace had just finished up working on the airline road after a particularly sweltering day. An airline road is a train track that goes through a field, like unbroken,
Oh, yeah,
like a
yeah.
flat field. I I should say I tried to use some like vocab words from like the 1800s, and I think I only did it like within the first couple pages and then forgot to continue because I got tired of trying to look up the meaning.
That's okay.
So there are a couple words in here that I'll describe what they mean, but other than that, like after that, I kind of forget to keep doing that because I didn't care anymore. He wiped his sweaty and sunburnt face with a filthy rag he kept in the back pocket of his equally dirty denim pants, picked up his tools, and walked over to the group of men who were his coworkers. It was the end of the week, and they always headed over to Jackson's saloon after work to decompress before heading home to their families. Ace, however, did not yet have a family of his own to go home to other than his parents, and he was hoping to change that soon. He had his eye on the barmaid at Jackson's, a red-headed, petite yet strong-willed woman named Josephine. He had drunkenly asked her out on a few different occasions and was let down every time, but tonight was going to be different. Buck gave Ace a slap on the back when he walked over to his fellow coworkers. "We're heading on over to Jackson's. You coming?" "I'll meet you all over there. There's something I have to get at home first." Buck chuckled. "Well, you'd better hurry over there before Will makes a move on your woman."
William.
"William." Ace silently simmered as he watched his coworkers start walking in the direction of the town center and turned in the other direction to head home. He walked faster than he normally would because there was no way he was going to let Will have a shot at Josephine. He was never going to treasure her the way Ace would. He was too addle-headed to truly appreciate a woman like her.
What does that mean?
Addle-headed, shoot, I forgot to write down the definition. Basically, like, full of himself and, like kind of apathetic, I guess. Something like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. When he walked in his front door, he greeted his parents and hurriedly went to his room. Under his bed was a music box that he had scraped and saved for after seeing Josephine admiring it in the shop window last month. He put away as much money as he could so he could get it for her and show her how much she meant to him. He had pre-cranked the box so that when she opened it, it would play for her, and he hoped that this would be the time that she would finally say yes to a date with him.
Aww.
Ace wrapped the delicate box in a scarf that his mother made him last winter and headed back out to the saloon. His stomach was in knots as he quickly walked. He couldn't tell if he was sweating so much from the heat of the summer or from the nerves.
Yes.
Both. He pushed through the swinging doors and scanned the bar looking for her, and soon enough he saw the back of Josephine's head, her bright red hair undeniable, and sauntered on over. "Excuse me, little lady. I'd like a whiskey and a chance to take you on a night out on the town." Ace unwrapped the music box and placed it on the bar table as she turned around to face him. His flirty grin turned to a look of sheer terror as Josephine looked at him dead in the eyes, or rather eye, because half of her face looked like it had been chewed off, exposing her skull as
Oh
parts of her brain.
no.
When she opened her mouth, a gargled moan managed to escape under the rush of blood and vomit.
Here.
That was beautiful, thank you. I might need you to help me with sound effects because I'll end up in a coughing fit if I
Okay.
do it.
I'll do that.
Thank you. Startled, Ace jumped back with a shriek, narrowly avoiding her hands as they reached across the bar for him. He quickly looked around the bar for help, hoping this was all a sick prank by the guys from work, but that's when he noticed that the entire saloon was in shambles. The people he only saw in the peripherals of his tunnel vision upon entering were sitting in their seats dead, while the others walking around were dragging themselves as if they were weighed down by their own bodies, and a few of them had noticed Ace and were coming for him. It was a small town, so Ace recognized what was left of the faces closing in on him, but his fear was so great that he couldn't help but reach for his I almost said his lobster. Reach for his holster. This is why I should be typing these up. This is my handwriting I'm reading. This might happen a couple times. Let's see. His fear was so great that he couldn't help but reach for his holster and start shooting. Unfortunately, he got through all 6 rounds quickly and didn't have time to reload. He bolted for the door. Just before reaching the exit, however, he heard a coherent voice shout out to him, "Ace! Ace, help me! Please don't leave me!" Ace stopped in his tracks and turned to see Buck under a table and struggling to free himself from a pile of bodies laying over him. Ace ran over to him and picked up the bodies of his former co-workers and cast them aside. There wasn't any time for being respectful to the dead when the people he shot were still coming after him. Why didn't they go down? Ace thought to himself as he hoisted Buck to his feet. One of Buck's legs had a big chunk taken out of it and was bleeding profusely.
No, fuck.
Ace could tell he was fading quickly, but he could never live with himself if he left his best friend there. "What happened here?" Ace yelled as they hobbled to the swinging doors. A body that he had moved from Buck then sprung to life and grabbed hold of his ankle.
That's terrifying.
Ace kicked it in the face before realizing that it was Will. Sorry. "We were just sitting there like always," Buck began, out of breath and wincing with pain as they continued to move. Will tried making a mash, aka making a hit / impress somebody. Okay, here. Let me start that sentence over now that you know what that means. You know what? I'll say the words and then I'll tell you what they mean afterwards, after I finish the sentence. "Will tried making a mash with Josephine, but she asked where you were. Then Pastor Smith's daughter, Loretta, walked in. That would have taken us all by surprise on its own accord, as everyone knows you think she's such a big bug who can't be seen around us lowlives. But here she had a big dent in her head and was missing half of her left arm while she walked in with a limp."
Loretta.
Loretta. So
It's
yeah,
all her fault.
making a mash means to make a hit / impress somebody, And big bug means you're an important person, official, a boss. So, since she's the pastor's daughter, she thinks she kind
Big
of
bug.
rules the town.
Okay.
Ace narrowly missed the town barber Horace as he lunged for him when they approached the swinging doors to freedom. They burst out and headed for the stables, where they knew they would be warned of any unsavory intruders by the horses. Ace helped Buck lay down on a bed of hay as he used his scarf he brought to wrap the music box in to bandage Buck's leg. What happened next? Asked Ace to distract Buck from the pain. Well, that's where she decided to kick up a row and bit down on Chester's hand when he tried to offer her a seat to rest. Kicking up a row means to create a disturbance. There's only one more vocab word after
Okay.
this before I gave up. Because I was like, this makes. I can't keep stopping to define things. She bit him? Ace asked in disbelief. She bit him so hard she took a few of his fingers clean off. Ace was speechless, so Buck continued on. She kept trying to get another bite, so a few others got up to hold her down, but she was so much stronger than everyone and started pulling off limbs and cracking skulls, only to start feasting on the fallen men. It was a horrible sight, and the rest of us were too shocked to move. Then the ones who we had seen take their last breath started to get up. They were unrecognizable as they started coming for the rest of us. We tried to fight them, but it was no use. No matter how we tried to beef them, they got right back up. Beef means to kill, and I just had to use that one. I was like, why is it? Oh, I forget. Read a definition. They said beef because they kill a cow to make beef. So they were like,
Oh,
this is the word for kill now.
funny. I
So
like that.
beef. Yeah, so no matter how we tried to beef them, they got right back up. Never seen anything like it. One of the horses at the front of the stable was spooked by something and started alarming the other horses. Ace looked to Buck, who was now fading in and out of consciousness. The scarf on his leg was soaked in blood already, and his face was pale as a ghost. Buck, whispered Ace. When he didn't respond, he gave him a brisk shake. Buck! The horses were now terrified of something, and a loud groan could be heard between their screams. Ace gave Buck another. Ace gave Buck another shaky. Wait, no,
Shaky.
another
Another
shake.
shaky.
The comma after an E looked like a Y. Ace gave Buck another shake and knew somewhere deep inside that he was gone. So he made the difficult decision to leave his friend behind to safety. Oh, behind to find safety. Buck didn't cry out to him as he ran out through the back door of the stable. Ace didn't stop until he found a quiet barn to hide and reload his pistol. He needed to figure out how these people were coming back to life and then couldn't die again. Was there a biblical plague happening in their small town? Was it happening everywhere and they were just in the path of this plague? Whatever it was, he wasn't going to let it take him down, like it did to all of his friends and Josephine. Suddenly, Ace was remembering the beginning of Buck's story of how she was paying no mind to Will's advancements, but asked where Ace was. Guilt flooded Ace's heart as he felt like if he was there when he should have been, maybe he could have saved her. And seeing her in the state that she was, with her brain exposed and missing half of her beautiful face, was devastating. If anything, he needed to figure out how to defeat these things so that he could put her out of her misery and give her a proper burial. To do that, he realized he's going to have to face them to learn about their weaknesses, and he was going to need a lot more than his pistol to back him up. Looking around the barn, Ace found a large bowie knife with a wooden handle, an axe, and some rope, and a sleeping horse. He found an apple tree in the field, so he picked some and brought them to the horse to gently wake it and saddle it up to ride back into town. This is insanity, he thought as he quietly rode. He was worried about the clip-clopping of the horse at first, but then remembered that he was indeed looking for trouble, and it didn't take too long to find it. The closer he rode into the town center, the more people he found running in the opposite direction, some with injuries too gruesome to describe. Ace tried not to let his rising fears get the best of him as he continued on into the storm. He pictured Josephine the way he wanted to remember her, alive and well, then imagined the life that they could have had together, growing old to keep his courage up.
Oh, poor Ace.
I know.
Josephine deserved better.
Yeah. There was no sense in having a life without her, so if anything happened to him as he attempted to help her rest, then he was at peace with that. He hopped off his horse and burst into the saloon, weapons in hand. The undead beings turned as soon as they heard him and approached him in full force. With his knife, Ace slashed his way through the bodies of those he used to call friends, and even enemies. Nothing seemed to work on keeping them down, and he was getting more and more frustrated, letting the fear he had before turn into pure adrenaline. He was beginning to feel exhaustion creeping in when he finally pulled out his pistol and shot one of the beings in the head with a feral scream.
Ah!
It was good. Exactly how I imagined it.
Yeah. Oh, good.
To his amazement, the body fell to the floor and stayed there, brains and blood pooling on the floor. Ace looked up in time to see another coming right for him, so he shot that one in the head too, and just like before, it fell and stayed still. He knew that he only had a few bullets left and wanted to save one for Josephine. He couldn't stand the thought of her suffering another moment like this. So he took his knife and aimed for their temples. They began dropping one by one like flies. He only used his pistol when needed, and unfortunately his exhaustion was making it more and more necessary. Ace began to realize that he may not be able to make it out of here alive. There were too many of them. But if he could at the very least find Josephine, he could die happy knowing that she was at peace. But the problem here was that he couldn't find her among the herd of rampaging zombies. Desperately, he searched as he fought, and he saw every face of the townspeople he passed by and greeted on a daily basis, except for Josephine. Where is she? He wondered as he scanned the saloon. Just then, two more people burst through the doors, armed to the nines with shotguns, brass knuckles, and tomahawks? Yeah, tomahawks. It's like a big knife thing. After they knocked down a few zombies, they saw Ace across the floor staring at them wide-eyed and made their way over. Ace knew them as Sheriff James McDonald and none other than Pastor Clarence Smith.
Yeah.
Boy, am I glad to see another living person, Sheriff McDonald said as they approached Ace. Ace looked at Pastor Smith with both sympathy and rage, for his daughter Loretta had died, but seemed to be the cause of all of this. The reason that Josephine, along with everyone else he knew and loved, were now disfigured and gone. What is going on? Started Ace. What happened to all of these people? Sheriff McDonald spoke up before Pastor Smith finished opening his mouth. Folks came to me about a week ago telling me stories of these strange people coming into our town from the woods. People who seemed like they had escaped their own graves, decaying as they continued to roam around the earth. I didn't believe them until I saw one for myself. Farmer Jensen had asked me to inspect the fields when something was killing his livestock all week. And when I was out there, I saw a man feasting on one of the cows behind the barn. I'll never forget the absent look in his clouded eyes when he looked up to me, blood dripping from his mouth as he screeched at me with an inhuman rage. Beautiful.
Thank you.
I tried to shoot him dead, but the holes in his chest did nothing. He got up and started hobbling closer to me, and it wasn't until I shot him in the head did he finally lay still on the ground. Then the cow started to awake, even with its entrails hanging out of its side. So I shot it in the head as well to put it out of its misery.
So, do you think that would be like the original mad cow disease?
Oh, maybe. I didn't even think about that. I was just trying to think of an animal. I had no idea what to tell Jensen, so I came to Pastor Smith, who told me that this was a sign of the end times, and there was little we could do but to survive until the rapture.
If that was the case, I would be like, come eat me, zombies.
I know, it'd be terrible.
But knowing my luck, they wouldn't eat me.
They just look at you and be like, eh.
Yeah. Like, just put me out of my misery. They're like, absolutely not.
No. Ace turned to Pastor Smith. Your daughter did this. She came in. she,
Dang.
she came in here in that state and infected everyone here. Pastor Smith lowered his head. She's been sick for days. I tried to keep her safe in hopes that the Lord would change his mind and save her if we cleansed her, but she escaped and we couldn't find her. I'm sorry. They were interrupted by a bang and a crash from the kitchen area, so they all looked over in time to see Josephine's walking corpse limping over to them, with a handful of someone's intestines swaying as she moved.
Spaghetti.
Mm-hmm. Sheriff McDonald took out his pistol and aimed, but Ace jumped in front of him. No! Confusion crossed the sheriff's face. We need to put her down, he shouted as she got closer. I know, Ace said, tears forming in his eyes. Let me do this one. Sheriff McDonald lowered his weapon and nodded his head in understanding. He and the pastor took a step back to let him face her alone. Ace turned to face Josephine and took out his pistol, aiming for her head. His finger rested on the trigger, but he trembled as he realized he couldn't pull it. He looked into her milky gray eyes as she got closer and closer, a gurgling growl escaping her gaping mouth. She bit into his hand, and he dropped the pistol and screamed in pain as she tore through the tendons and threw him into the bar table, knocking down the music box. Knocking down the music box he had placed there earlier to the floor. The fall cracked the lid open, and the dainty tune filled the air as she now dug into his chest. The last thing Ace heard through his screams were the music and 2 gunshots before everything went dark and silent.
Ah! Boom! There you go.
Boom. One for her, one for him. The end.
Aww.
At least I got to
Oh
die
man.
together.
Yeah. That was good.
Thank you. I'm glad it wasn't as disorganized as I thought it was going to
No, that
be.
was good.
Thank you. So there you go, Mom.
Yeah.
I hope you're happy now.
Yeah.
Making me write some pretty gruesome stuff there.
That was good.
Thank
I
you.
like the description.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked my gory details.
Before I started writing mine, Michaela and Alex were actually watching Zombieland,
Oh,
which I think that was
perfect.
hilarious.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
So
good movie.
I was like,
Oh,
I could
perfect.
always use some of that, but then nothing came to mind for it because I wasn't looking for it to be hilarious
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, you just wanted to be a little lighthearted so you weren't
Yeah.
depressed afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go that route, but that's okay. I just had The Walking Dead in my mind the whole time. I didn't feel like watching it, so I was just thinking about it. Okay, so for next week.
All right. Setting.
No, it's a genre.
Genre.
Oh, I get to pick it. Okay,
Of course.
I'm gonna dig to the bottom. See what it is. Oh, it looks like a big one. Thriller and suspense.
We did that.
I know, we've gone through them all.
Oh, we did?
Well, yeah,
Wow. Okay.
the ones that I felt like doing at least, because I don't want to do romance. No offense to people who like romance. That's just not my mindset, dude. So yeah, so we're gonna be doing some now that we've done all the genres in our coconut, we're gonna be repeating some, or we'll be repeating them forever now. But
Yeah.
yeah, so in a thriller and suspense, the protagonist is usually acting to save their own life rather than solve a crime. Typically include cliffhangers, deception, high emotional stakes, and plenty of action, keeping the reader on the edge of their seat. And it doesn't need unnecessary details, so that'll be my challenge. 'Cause I love unnecessary details. And our setting will be
The zoo.
oh, fun. That'll be fun. Throw that one out. We don't need it anymore.
Oh.
Oh, I'm already getting ideas.
Okay. And our challenge item is. Oh no.
This one jumped out. I'm gonna hold it. It's a hatchet.
That's not challenge.
Oh, you want a different one?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't want a thriller and suspense with a hatchet?
That's too easy.
Okay. An angry goose.
Amazing. I love that.
That's not gonna be too easy at the zoo? No, I like
put it
it.
back.
No, I like it. I want an angry goose.
Okay.
Because geese aren't in the zoo, so.
Yeah. Okay, so next week's episode is episode 13. It is a thriller and suspense
At the zoo.
at the zoo with an angry goose.
Can't wait.
Yay!
Yay. And if you have any topic ideas you would like to hear us do, if you think, oh, these are too easy, Ashley. I'm just kidding. I love you. Um, send them into a pot of tales at gmail.com. And our next listener episode is supposed to be
February
yeah,
1st.
February 1st. That's coming up quickly. So if you have any short stories that you would like us to read that you have written, whether they're original or you've used any of our prompts that we've done in past episodes, use your creative mind. You can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like us to read them on air for our listener episode, send them into a pot of tales at gmail.com.
And then like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and our Facebook at A Pot of Tales.
And Spotify.
Oh, and Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah, we're also on Spotify. We need more Spotify numbers. So if you have it or you know people that have it, let them know about us. That'd be great. Thanks in advance. Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.